Welcome to the webinar, The Power of Play, Every Child's Superhero. My name is Dr. Pam Kramer-Ertel. I'm an Associate Professor of Education in the Department of Elementary and Special Education at Middle Tennessee State University. In addition to having 9 years of teaching experience as an early childhood educator, I have over 24 years of teaching experience as a teacher educator at the university level. I've also served for 7 years as the Dean of the College of Education at East Stroudsburg University of Pennsylvania. Throughout all of my years as an educator, I have been a firm believer in the power of play. Now more than ever, as we face the challenges of this pandemic, it's essential for children to have opportunities to play, as play is the language of children. The dictionary defines a superhero as a fictional character having extraordinary powers. They often use their powers to help the world become a better place, protecting the public and stopping evil. As we navigate the challenges of this pandemic, now more than ever, play can serve as every child's superhero. We have 3 main objectives for this webinar. The first is that participants will become aware of the value and benefits of play. The second is that participants will become aware of the impact of the pandemic on children's play. And the final objective is that participants will be aware of strategies that can be used to effectively engage children in meaningful and productive play. So here's the outline of our agenda. We've already addressed our objectives. We're going to first talk about the power of play, then the impact of the pandemic on children's play, strategies to support play, and then we'll end with a summary and some recommendations. One of the first topics we're going to address is the value and benefits of play. Play is a powerful force in the lives of all children. One of the benefits of play is that it helps to develop gross motor skills. These are skills that involve activities such as running, hopping, skipping, jumping, even climbing. In one of the photos here, you can see my grandson Skylar climbing a tree. The power of play also enhances fine motor skills that are used for the small muscles that are going to be important for writing and drawing. As you can see here, my grandson Knox is playing with magnets, using his hands to manipulate different objects. These skills also help to develop a child's coordination, which is also going to be an important skill as they move forward and become literate and write and use their bodies in unique and important ways. Another benefit of play is that it helps to lessen anxiety and stress, which is important for all of us in this very stressful time. It also can provide a way for children to safely express anger as well as frustration. Sandra Russ, who is a researcher in the study of play at Case Western Reserve University, tells us that we shouldn't be surprised by some of the themes of children's play. For example, it's not unusual to hear children discussing the virus as part of their play during the pandemic. By acting out their feelings, children can gain a sense of control about what could be a very frightening world. Play helps children process and cope with their emotions as they expand energy, express their feelings, concerns, questions, and sometimes even change a narrative. And sometimes play is just the experience of pure joy. In the larger photo here, you can see the joy and excitement of my granddaughter Charlotte as she's playing out in the snow. Play also is important because it helps children grow mentally and cognitively. It helps promote language development by providing opportunities for rich language. That is really important in children's growth and development. There's a great deal of research that supports these cognitive benefits of play. In this large picture here, you can see my grandson Knox, who's proudly displaying the results of his science experiment. Sharing books, doing puzzles, and exploring the world help to promote thinking, as well as language skills, which are an important part of early childhood development. An important part of the mental cognitive development of children are opportunities to solve problems through play. These experiences help children learn through trial and error. Children get opportunities to explore solutions to problems, and they get to do this through authentic learning experiences, whether it's trying to build a block structure or find out whether an object can sink or float. The possibilities are endless. Authentic, everyday play experiences provide great ways for children to learn through exploration. Sometimes you can create these experiences for children. Sometimes they will discover them on their own. Play also has great value because it promotes creativity. Dressing up or pretend play provides wonderful opportunities to explore different roles, express different emotions, and interact with others in meaningful ways. Play has many social and emotional benefits as it helps children to interact with others, a very essential life skill. It also provides a sense of companionship with others. One of the most difficult challenges for us sometimes is to just stay out of it and let children learn by doing. There are a few strategies that we can use to help support play and enhance children's well-being. As adults, we want to wait to be invited to play. We don't necessarily just want to join in a child's play. Wait and see if they are asking us to be part of that play. It is okay for children to play alone. Some children will actually prefer that privacy, and we want to let children select their own play themes. We don't have to direct it for them. They will come up with those ideas on their own in most cases. Some other ideas about supporting play and children's well-being. As adults, we want to just enjoy being playful with them. It really helps to release our inner childhood, and that is a win-win for everybody. It's also a great way to help families stay connected and feel accepted. It's also a wonderful way to bond with a child. It helps relieve everyone's stress. This is especially valuable during these challenging days of dealing with the pandemic. So speaking of the pandemic, let's look at some of the research that shows the impact of the pandemic on children's play. One of the negative aspects of the pandemic is that children are typically less physically active due to having more screen time, being indoors more, and having less access to parks and playgrounds. We know that many of those facilities have been closed during the pandemic, but it is important that we try to get outdoors more to provide those activities that will help children be more physically active. Although parks and playgrounds have been closed in some areas, you can substitute for them by walking through the neighborhood or walking through a park, just exploring ways to still be physically active. This may be a great time to have children ride a bike or try movements that they might not normally engage in, like skipping or hopping as you walk down the street. Perhaps you can imitate movements of superheroes or animals. You may find that children's play reflects feelings of frustration, boredom, or confusion at this time. If the issue is frustration, we want to try to engage children in frustration lessening activities, such as doing things like pounding clay or running at a fast speed. If the issue is boredom, it's not necessarily a bad thing for a child to be bored occasionally, and that might spur them on to explore some new ideas that they hadn't previously considered. You may find that a child's play includes themes related to health, fear, or death. We don't have to be overly concerned, as play provides a way for children to explore and process what they're thinking and feeling, which could also be a great conversation starter to talk about some of these challenging issues. Play may help children reflect their attempt to express concerns, ask questions, and crucially shape a narrative. Here again, it's a great way to provide support to a child as they grapple with difficult issues. You might only know what they're feeling as evidenced in their play themes. Finally, the research shows that play has a significant therapeutic role, helping children recover a sense of normality and joy. Unstructured play is particularly helpful, as this is part of a therapeutic role that play has for us, as it helps children and adults process what they're thinking and feeling. Play can serve as one of the ways children deal with the changes happening in their lives. As significant adults in their lives, we may learn tremendously valuable information based on what we observe from a child's play. While my 4-year-old granddaughter, shown here, might not have exhibited extreme signs of fear and stress, one of the things we learned was that she was concerned about the pandemic, as she would often ask on a daily basis, "Is the virus still out there?" While this picture of her climbing the fence is a bit comical, the reality is that many children and adults probably are feeling the desire to run away from it all, to get away from the fear and the concern stemming from this pandemic. We want to be aware of these fears and concerns that children have so that we can provide needed support and guidance as children navigate these challenging emotions. One of the best things adults can do to support play and children's well-being is to find ways to help children to play at home. Here are some ideas to think about. Include physical activity into children's daily routines. Try to take walks more. Get outside. Have them do stretching exercises. You can join in doing all these things. If children are having a lot of screen time, it's going to be especially important to take a physical break every 30 to 60 minutes, particularly if they've not been active. That physical movement is going to really be important. There are a number of online movement programs that can be very helpful for providing activities to get children involved in physical activity. FamilyGoNoodle.com is a great resource that has music and movement activities for children. It's very similar to a program used in many schools called GoNoodle.com. Kids Bop videos are also a great resource as it includes both music and movement, and this can be a great way for everyone to become more physically active. And it's a great thing that families can do together. So I encourage you to take advantage of these online movement programs. As adults, we can help support children's play and well-being by providing the necessary space and materials for play. We particularly want to provide opportunities for sensory active play. Now, word of caution, this kind of play can be messy, it can be noisy, but it's a great way for children to deal with their feelings. When we talk about sensory materials, materials involving any or all of the senses, they are tremendous learning tools. While the play may get a bit messy, the benefits of learning are well worth it. You can still feel in control of these messy situations by determining an area where this messy type of play can occur. Some suggestions are make sure you have some old clothes available so that children can be messy as they play by putting these old clothes on, and you don't have to worry about them ruining their good clothes. You might also consider involving the children in the cleanup, as that might actually be part of the fun of the activity. Messiness and noise actually help children deal with and express their feelings in manageable ways. This play can happen indoors, it can happen outdoors. In this first picture here, my grandson Knox with the paint. The original intent was not to make this a body painting experience, but the adults in charge of the situation let the child lead, and it turned out to be an amazingly fun and productive sensory experience for Knox. It's very easy for us as adults to want to hinder children's play. You'll get dirty. It's too cold. Don't touch that. But we're denying children the experience of having a rich learning opportunity and a joyful experience to engage in nature. So let them get messy, let them get noisy. There are great benefits to that type of play. Some additional strategies to help support play and children's well-being are to use simple games. One idea is to play a simple game called I Spy. This is where you and your child can describe objects that you see. This can be done inside. If you're stuck inside, you could be looking out the window and describing things that you see outside, or it can actually take place outdoors also. And as the description is done, you can see if the child can identify the objects that you're describing. And then you can have the child do the describing, and you can try to guess what the objects are that they're describing. It's a great language development activity, and it's fun and engaging. Some other simple games that can be played. A new invention based off of the idea of shadow tag is social distancing tag, where instead of tagging someone physically to protect our social distance, we just try to tag their shadow. Other ideas to support children's play and well-being is to explore the outdoors. There are many places outdoors that children can go with their families and just enjoy some fresh air, enjoy being together, and learn about the environment. One of the things we can do is have children collect natural objects. They can use those objects to create a collage or a shadow box. Some other fun things are to have children draw on paved surfaces or even the sidewalk. I can remember as a child myself, I would use sheetrock and write on the garage walls, and that was just a fun thing that I loved to do. So there are lots of ways that we can enhance their well-being using the outdoors and engaging them in things that are fun and interesting to them. Some other thoughts about supporting children's play and their well-being: have a silly costume night where everybody dresses up in silly costumes, as my grandson Knox is doing here. Have a family game night where games are played together, or plan other special family activities, as my family's doing here in the pumpkin carving activity. It doesn't matter what it is. The key thing is that you're together, you're having fun, and you're meaningfully engaged in enjoying the pleasure of play. So thinking about other strategies that can help support play, one thing that you can do, which can be a great math connection, is to keep track, keep a tally, count the number of cars or things that pass by as you're either looking out the window or even if you're outside. You can count the number of cars or people or animals that pass by. That can be used to make a list, to develop writing skills, make a graph for math skills as you chart your findings. You can also create either an indoor or an outdoor garden and keep a journal of the plant growth that's observed. My grandson Skylar here is very proud of his outdoor garden. Children can really be meaningfully engaged in nature by involving them in those kinds of activities where they help to care and tend for a garden, whether it be indoors or outdoors. Some other suggested activities, many which can be done indoors also, are to have children do yoga. My grandson Knox is really into yoga here and really enjoys that. Dance is another activity that can help to enhance play, as well as music. So all of these things have great benefits for children, both physically as well as cognitively and emotionally. Some other thoughts about being trapped indoors to make a better play environment is think about creating a cozy corner or place where children can sort of just chill and relax and self-regulate. We can do creative play with things like old boxes. As you can see Charlotte and Skylar here playing in a box. You can create a tent using blankets and chairs and tell fireside stories. The idea is to make the indoors a fun place to be, and it's also a great place for learning at the same time. Kitchen capers allow children to do things in the kitchen, whether in a real kitchen or a fake kitchen, baking, cooking. Have them participate in those activities with you. Again, it can become a great family tradition, and it's a great learning experience as they measure and explore and enjoy the sensory experience of working in the kitchen. Now, a lot of children are having a lot of screen time, particularly if their school is happening remotely. So we want to think about ways that we can use screen time safely. So one of the things that's recommended is that we find a workable balance between time on screen and time off screen. As mentioned earlier about being still and sedentary, make sure you have your children take frequent stretch breaks if they're in front of the screen for a long period of time. You also want to find programs that might be online but also involve movement, as we talked about with some of the Go Noodle activities and the online movement programs. Try to limit screen time before bedtime because the research shows that it makes it more difficult for children to calm down and be ready for sleep if they've been spending a lot of time online prior to that. So the idea is have a good balance. One of the downsides of the pandemic is that children have been separated from many of their friends. So consider scheduling a virtual tea party where dress-up and snacks can be shared remotely. If remote friends cannot be located, a stuffed animal friend might suffice, or even a sibling or a parent. As we desire to enhance and support play for children, consider having some of these materials available for children to use during their play. Old clothes for dress up is a great opportunity for children to, again, do that make pretend play. Have old sheets and blankets available for them to explore. Cardboard boxes. Play-Doh is a great stress reliever as they pound and shape and mold it. Give them pots and pans and wooden spoons to manipulate. Chalk, paint, markers. Scrap materials, whether it be fabric, paper, buttons, toilet tissue rolls, food trays, they can really use their creative talents by creating things from recycled materials. Items of nature such as leaves, pine cones, seeds, twigs, acorns, rocks. Having these things available can create great play materials for children to explore. So as we bring this presentation to a close, I want to just make some recommendations and sort of summarize some of the key ideas that have been shared today. Take advantage of the opportunity to get to know your child better by observing their play. You're going to know more about their personality, their fears, their concerns. It's an awesome way to get to know your child. Play can serve as a great conversation starter with your child as you ask them about how they're feeling, what they're thinking. It really provides great opportunities for you to go deeper with your child and address any concerns and fears they're having. Play provides the opportunity to provide age-appropriate information as you learn about their fears, their concerns, and even some misunderstandings. So as you hear some of these things surface in their play, it gives you the opportunity to address and correct any misunderstandings or misconceptions, and also to help address their fears and concerns. Play provides a great opportunity for you to reassure your child, and it gives you a wonderful opportunity to make memories with your child, and that truly is priceless. So one big perk for us as adults is that a good day of play enhances sleep, even for superheroes. These are some of the resources that I used in preparing this presentation, in case you want to dig any deeper into the power of play. And I would just like to thank you for viewing this webinar. Whether you're a parent, a teacher, or just a concerned child advocate, I hope you have a richer understanding of the 3 objectives that we set out to accomplish today. That you'd become aware of the value and benefits of play, that you become aware of the impact of the pandemic on children's play, and that you become more aware of strategies that can be used to effectively engage children in meaningful and productive play. Play is not what we use to keep children out of our way, but rather, it's the cornerstone to effective learning. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me at pamela.ertel@mtsu.edu. Thank you very much.